It was a cold night in New York City when something happened that broke millions of hearts. A famous man came home, not knowing it would be his last time. He had just walked past the gates of his building with his loving wife. They smiled at each other, happy to be together. But in the shadows, someone was waiting. Suddenly, the night was full of loud bangs. People ran to their windows. Others screamed. Something terrible had just happened, and no one could believe it. The news came fast, like a storm. All over the world, TVs and radios spoke of the same thing. A man loved by many had been shot in the heart of the city. People cried in the streets. They sang slow songs and held candles. Crowds gathered near the building where it happened, trying to understand what took place. This man was not just a singer. He was much more. He had changed music, made people dream, and asked for peace. Why would someone want to hurt him? Many said it felt like losing a friend. They had never met him, but his voice had been part of their lives. His songs had made them feel hope and love. This man had lived a loud, bright life. He laughed, danced, and sometimes made people angry. Still, millions looked up to him, hoping to follow his path. Who was this person who touched so many hearts? What made him so special? To understand, we must go back to the beginning, to his first day in a war-torn city. John Lennon was born during World War II on October 9, 1940, in Liverpool. At that time, bombs were falling near the hospitals, and the city was not safe. John's father was not there when he was born. He worked on ships, so he was gone most of the time. John's mother, Julia, named him after a famous leader. Julia was a kind woman, but she had many personal problems. When John was 4 years old, he went to live with his Aunt Mimi and her husband, Uncle George. Aunt Mimi was very strict but cared about John. She did not like music and told him that playing guitar was no way to make money or find a real job. Even so, John kept going to his mother's house to play music. Julia bought him his first guitar and showed him how to play banjo and listen to Elvis songs. Julia often came to visit John at Mimi's house too. They talked, laughed, and drank tea together. One day, something very sad happened that changed John forever. After leaving Mimi's house, Julia was hit by a car and died. John was 16 years old. He never forgot that day and felt pain about it for the rest of his life. John had troubles in school too. He was smart but did not follow rules. He often joked during lessons and made funny drawings about his teachers and friends. He even made a small comic book called The Daily Howl. Many times he got in trouble. One day, he was given 3 detentions for different bad behaviors. Even if he didn't like school rules, John had talent in art and music. With help from his aunt and a teacher, he joined the Liverpool College of Art. His art school time was not easy. He did not bring the right tools, and he often borrowed from a girl named Cynthia Powell, who later became his wife. Though he did not do well on exams, John never gave up on music. He stayed busy drawing, listening to songs, and dreaming of a bigger future in his own way. While still a student, John started a music group with friends from school. They called themselves the Quarrymen and played simple songs at local places. One day in 1957, the Quarrymen played at a small fair. After the show, John met a young boy named Paul. Paul showed him how to tune his guitar and sing songs. John felt surprised by Paul's skills. He liked Paul's music and friendly way. After some time, John asked Paul to join the group, and Paul said yes. The group started to change. With Paul in the band, they worked on new sounds and played better music. They were no longer just a school group. Later, Paul brought along his friend George Harrison. George was younger, calm, and very good at guitar. He played quickly and with feeling. John listened to George and saw his talent. After some talks, John let George into the Quarrymen. Now the band had 3 strong players with big dreams. They played at school parties and small clubs. Each show made them better and more sure of their music. Fans started to know their names. The 3 boys, John, Paul, and George, shared a deep love for music. They listened to rock songs, practiced often, and talked about dreams. Even though they were young and unknown, something about their bond made people listen. These early days helped form the heart of the Beatles. Things started to move fast for John and his band. They began to play music in Germany, in a place called Hamburg, where life was hard but full of new chances. In Hamburg, they played in loud clubs at night and slept in small, dark rooms during the day. The boys ate little and stayed up late, feeling both tired and excited. John became known for his wild actions on stage. One time, he even played his guitar while wearing only his underwear and a toilet seat around his neck for fun. After some time, the group went back to Liverpool. They started playing at a place called the Cavern Club, where many people came to see their shows. One of the people who watched was Brian Epstein. He had a music store and wanted to help the group. Brian saw something special in them and became their manager. With Brian helping, the band became better known. He found them a record deal and helped them look sharp and act polite so more people would like them. While all this was happening, John had secrets. He married Cynthia Powell, a girl from art school, because she became pregnant with his baby. They had a quiet wedding in 1962 with no big party. That same year, John kept playing music because the band was more important to him than a honeymoon. In 1963, Cynthia gave birth to their son, Julian. But John was busy with music and didn't spend much time with his baby or help her at home. John was now the only father in the band, but his fame was growing. People knew the Beatles, and young girls liked them most when they were not married. Because of this, their manager tried to hide John's family life. They wanted fans to dream about the band members being single and free. John's fame did not help his family. Cynthia and Julian felt lonely. Later, Julian said that his father talked about peace but did not give love at home. By 1964, the Beatles had become very famous. They flew to America and were met by big crowds of screaming fans at the airport, holding signs and crying. John and the band went on a popular TV show in the US called The Ed Sullivan Show. Millions watched as they played songs and made funny jokes in interviews. Young people loved them, but not everyone was happy. Some adults thought John had strange ideas and did not like how the Beatles affected the youth. John became known for being outspoken. He was smart and liked to say what he thought, even if it made people upset or caused trouble for the band. He once joked that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus. This comment made many people in the United States angry, and they started burning Beatles' items. Some radio stations stopped playing Beatles songs. Others held public burnings of records and posters to show that they didn't like what John had said. Even with the anger, John kept making music and jokes. He stayed calm during hard times and often smiled or made funny faces to the press and his fans. In the same year, the Beatles made a movie called A Hard Day's Night. It showed their funny side and let fans see them enjoying music and having fun. John also wrote a book filled with silly poems and stories. It showed his love for art and his creative mind beyond just music and songs. John didn't stop with just one book. He later wrote another book with more jokes and strange ideas, using words in new and interesting ways. His second book proved he wasn't only a songwriter, but also someone full of imagination. He liked trying new forms of art and sharing them with the world. John's work often surprised people and made them think. Some loved it, some didn't understand, but he always followed his own creative path. After years of being in the spotlight, John met a new person who would change his life. Her name was Yoko Ono, and she was not a singer but a modern artist. They met at one of Yoko's art shows. John felt surprised by her ideas. She gave him a card with only one word, breathe, and it stayed in his mind. John started to visit her more often. Even though he was still married to Cynthia, he and Yoko spent time talking, laughing, and working on art projects together. John and Yoko made a record together. The cover showed them without any clothes, which upset many people at the time. But John didn't care. Soon, his marriage to Cynthia ended. He and Yoko got married in 1969 at a special place called Gibraltar. They stayed by each other through hard times. Instead of a private honeymoon, they turned it into a peace protest. They stayed in bed for days, covered in white sheets, and invited the press to ask about peace. In their hotel room, they recorded a song called Give Peace a Chance. Many others joined them while they sang, including friends, reporters, and followers. John now shared his life with Yoko. He believed in peace and tried to share that idea with the world through art, songs, and peaceful events like the Bed-In. But some fans and people in the band did not like Yoko's part in John's life or music. They thought she changed everything and made the group fall apart. By 1969, the happy days of the Beatles were ending. Each member had their own plans, and they didn't spend much time together anymore. John told the others he wanted to leave the band, but the group stayed quiet about it until Paul later told the world first, in 1970. After the band broke up, people blamed Yoko. Some fans felt sad. They believed the Beatles would last forever, but now it was clear their time was over. After the Beatles ended, John started a new life with Yoko in New York City. They moved into a big famous building called the Dakota, away from the old fame. John liked the busy streets and tall buildings of New York. He felt free there and could walk outside without being followed too much by fans or reporters. In their new home, they made music together and enjoyed small things like shopping, cooking, and watching the world from their window. On John's 35th birthday, Yoko gave birth to their son, Sean. This time, John decided to step away from music and become a full-time father. He wanted to do better than before. He stayed home, changed diapers, played games, and read stories instead of going on tours or making records. This change surprised many people. John had been famous all his life, but now he chose to live quietly and take care of his family first. Not everyone liked John and Yoko living in the US. Some people in the government wanted them to leave because of their strong words about peace. John was watched by the police and got letters saying he had to leave the country. He was afraid of being taken away from Yoko and Sean. He hired lawyers to help him stay. It took years of waiting and stress, but finally, John was allowed to live in the United States for good. After 5 quiet years, John wanted to make music again. He wrote new songs with Yoko and planned an album that showed love and life at home. In 1980, they released the album Double Fantasy. It had songs about their home, their love, and Sean. John was excited to be back in the studio again. People were happy to hear from him after so long. The album became very popular, and John felt proud to share his voice once more with the world. Even after his passing, John Lennon stays alive in the hearts of many people. His songs still play, and his words about world peace are shared all over the globe. John was more than just a singer. He also made art and wrote books. He talked about dreams, love, and a better future through music and peaceful actions. Many people found comfort in his voice. His songs helped them feel calm, brave, or full of hope in hard times. His gift still speaks to people today. One quiet place where fans go to remember John is called Strawberry Fields. It's in New York's Central Park, close to his old home, the Dakota Building. This memorial was made to honor John's life and ideas. People from around the world visit it. They leave flowers, play music, and sit to think about peace. Some fans bring guitars and sing his songs to feel closer to him. Others just sit near the word imagine written in the stone and think quiet thoughts. John's work changed music and touched many. He didn't just write about fun things. He also shared deep thoughts about war, justice, and human love. Even today, his ideas stay strong. Teachers use his words in classrooms. Activists play his songs at marches and events that speak for rights and freedom. John used his fame to reach millions. He told them to care for others, help build peace, and dream about a kind world where all people are treated fairly. Though his life ended too soon, John Lennon left a big mark. His art, music, and message continue to grow and shine in every new heart that hears his name. Many people who weren't alive when he lived still feel a connection to him. They learn his story, sing his songs, and find meaning in his gentle voice. John once asked the world to imagine peace. Now, even years later, that dream lives on. In every song or smile he gave, his light has not gone out.